Hello, and welcome to this tutorial on how to create a contribution campaign inside Transformation 360. It will be short, succinct, and very much to the point. So let's get going. I'm going to share my screen, and I'm going to show you from start to finish, how do you set up this contribution campaign from the very start inside of Transformation 360. So here we have to start by recognizing that there are two parts of the system. We have the part that is inside of the Transformation 360 platform. There we are doing all the administration work. We're doing the monitoring, the analytics, the tracking, the clustering once you are actually ideating, all the AI powered tools are inside of the Transformation 360 tool. And then we have the outside part of this. That is the contribution campaigns of the site. The contribution campaigns are only there to engage the external party. The external party can be outside of your organization. It can be inside of your organization. It can be a hybrid. But the core difference is that you typically have a smaller number of users inside of the system that are able to do the administrative work, they're able to do the analytics, that are able to monitor and track and put up new strategic initiatives and ideations and contributions. I'll get to that in a moment. What are the differences? Then you have contributors that are invited to a contribution campaign. So there can be maybe 100 people inside a large organization that have access on the inside Transformation 360 to do all this work. They are the ones that are following processes and working inside the system. And you can have 10,000 people that are contributing and see the contribution sites that we're about to start here today. So that's the difference between the two. I'm going to show you from start to finish how to do this. So the first thing I want to show you is just I mentioned terms here: strategic initiatives, ideations, campaigns, contribution sites. What are they and how do they differ? The first thing you can do in Transformations 360 is if you press strategic initiatives or ideations, you'll see this little learn more button here. If you press there, you will immediately see how do they fit, the pieces fit together. So a strategic initiative is tied to your strategy. So inside of your strategy, you have typically several strategic initiatives. And within a strategic initiative, you run ideation works. Within an ideation, you run several campaigns. So strategy, broader, strategic initiative, a little bit more narrow, ideation, even more narrow, several campaigns on one ideation narrows it down even further. And then within the campaigns, that's really where you're adding ideas. You start to cluster those. Some of those clusters you will park and kill, and some of those you will test further and get onto experimentation with. So this is a good overarching picture to go back to and to review every once in a while to just understand how the pieces fit together. Cool. All right. So now we know the different parts. We're going to do this in a two-stage rocket here. So we are going to start by adding a strategic initiative inside of the Transformation 360 page. We are going to add an ideation, and we're gonna link that to the initiative, and we're gonna add a campaign here. And then here is where the important stuff is. These three parts here, they are all going to be seen from the inside of whatever client you have, if it's your own client or if you're doing this as a consultant. But we must also make an external facing part of this, and that is where the contribution campaigns come in. So we make the contribution campaigns over here on the campaign level of the process. And that is where we're getting the ideas that we cluster and so forth. So just be mindful of that two-stage rocket here. We're gonna make the strategic initiative, the ideation, and the campaign first inside for internal view to monitor and track it, and everyone should be able to know what's going on. Everyone that have access, and then you create that external facing contribution site in the end. Cool. All right. First things first. Let's create a strategic initiative. Right now, I'm on the client Innovation 360 group. It's difficult to make surgery on yourself, but let's see. Let's see if we can create an engaging campaign here for Innovation 360 Group. So the first thing to do is to create a strategic initiative. I've clicked on strategic initiatives here on the left-hand side. I press on the big plus sign, and I choose a strategic initiative. I mean, I could have many. It can be, for instance, how do we create a talent acquisition and scaling and retention framework? How do we build innovation management leadership on a global level? But let's go with talent acquisition and scaling framework. And let's see if we can spell that correct as well. Acquisition, that looks correct. Cool. Now we've created a strategic initiative. That's as easy as that. This is so that people know that have access. What are the initiatives that we have going on inside the strategic initiative? We press on it and we add an ideation. I press on the big button that says add ideation. Here, again, remember here that an ideation is a more narrow part within the strategic initiative that you're trying to solve. I could think of many examples here, but let's say, so talent acquisition, I would say, for instance, it could be the finding of the suitable talent in the first place. How do we work with Innovation 360 branding? How do we find the right channels for identifying the people? But also the onboarding experience itself is crucial, of course. And how do we work with professional growth and stuff like that. So let's go here with an ideation that focuses on the onboarding process. Onboarding, and let's cut and paste here a little description that I wrote earlier, and a description of it. So this is so that you just correctly explain what it is that you're trying to do. Remember, you're not just doing this so that you remember it yourself, but also so that other people can see what is it that we're doing inside the organization. What are the problems we're trying to solve? Choose a sponsor. In this case, I will be the sponsor. You can just search for it. Choose a title. Onboarding lacks structure. This is, of course, hypothetical. Innovation 360 has an onboarding, so I am not trying to insinuate anything here. Okay, we picked the impact. If this were to succeed, we were to actually create a much better onboarding, that would be very impactful, and I would say that it's highly feasible. Maybe not the highest. There isn't that many examples of sublime onboarding processes out there. So I will keep it there. And a horizon. So I mean, here you can look at it from different perspectives. I would put it as Horizon 2, based on the fact that there's a lot of uncertainty on how to actually do this in a small, but really widespread and global innovation management consultancy firm. There aren't that many examples that we can draw upon. So there's a lot of uncertainty on how to do this and how to do it correctly. I would name this a Horizon 2 project. And then we choose the organization, Innovation 360 Group. Here, if you have more admin rights, you can decide who sees what within the organization. That's for another tutorial. Here, just know I picked the Innovation 360 Group, and I'm going to add that. Okay, I've created an ideation. I want to look at that ideation, and within there, cool. This is visible for Innovation 360 Group and some other ones. here I want to start creating campaigns. Cool. Inside the campaigns, let's see here. So the overarching ideation was really about the onboarding process. And here, now we're looking at a more narrow part of the onboarding process. What are the problems that could exist there? For instance, it could be that we don't have a good enough mentorship program, or that there isn't a mentorship program. Let's take that one as an example. Mentorship program. So here there could be several problems within the onboarding, and that's really what we're trying to capture here within the campaigns. Cool, and I choose an end date. This shall end in July 24th. That's a really bad idea. If I just give some other advice, Christmas Eve also a bad idea. But let's say that we're planning to run this in November. We want it to end somewhere in December, as an example. Running them over the summer, by the way, is a quite bad idea. Cool. Right. So we now have a strategic initiative. We have an ideation within that strategic initiative, and we have a campaign, right? So let us see now. Let us see now what we can. We have here the campaign. Now we are going to start the contribution site. So I'm going to. It's quite logical here. You go from one step. The furthest one is strategic initiative. That's the first, and then you do an ideation. Within an ideation, you do the campaign, and then you move further down the line to contribution site. Here, I'm going to create a new one. Press on the big plus sign. All right. So contribution URL name. Here we want to, this is what, if people, when you invite this, what will be the URL? How do you find this site? It will always be app.ideation360.com / whatever you put here. So if we put the contribution name, for instance, onboarding as an example, and we write here again, remember, we had the description before that was more for the internal view of this. The description that we're writing here should be very engaging. It should be so engaging that people can't keep their fingers away from adding submitting ideas here. So this is just the overarching page. Welcome to Innovation 360 ideation about talent acquisition and retention, about improving mixing all sorts of capital letters with small letters here, but that will do for now. This, of course, you can change the size of this, the style of this. I would urge you to just play around with this and see what it looks like. I would make this a little bit bigger so we can see it. Acquisition seems to be a word I have trouble spelling. That didn't help. Acquisition, yeah, that's better. I would play around with this, with the colors, with the font size, with the different fonts, of course, until you find something that seems really suitable to your background and to your style. This title is also going to show up on the first page of your ideation. Let's create the best version of ourselves. So you'll see where this ends up in a moment. Log in below now. All right. So we want that to be included on the landing page. Log in. Here we can decide if we want it to be an idea or it can be a story that you're adding. For instance, we had a client where we were helping them to craft their values in their organization, and we were actually looking for not ideas but stories. You know, what were the stories that you that really would highlight and emphasize our values as an organization. So here you have the potential of actually changing, if it's not ideas and comments you're looking for in singular and plural, but something else, you can change that here. Here you can add your logotype of your client or your of yourself, and here you can also change the background, and you can find a background. I typically look for background images at Unsplash. So let's do that. Let's see here. We want to create like something around talents. I press orientation landscape because 99 or 98% of them will look at it from on a computer, on a desktop. Yeah, we don't have to spend too much time on the right picture here, but let's just, for the sake of this, let us save this image, make sure that we're getting the right, making sure that we're capturing the info of this, of this person, so that we give him the right credibility that Clark deserves. And then here there is, so again, here, selecting the background image, downloads, see Clark Young. You can add a Google Analytics ID here, so that you can do even more thorough and more comprehensive analytics, which I would recommend. That's really powerful, and it's for free to create a Google Analytics account and link that. And here there is a number of different functions that you can add, which I would recommend you to try out. And this is where you decide if you want to have social sharing buttons. So do you want it to be able to share ideas to Twitter or Facebook and LinkedIn? You would click yes. And if this is closed, like you've actually closed out the campaign and you want to say thank you to everyone, you would put yes here and you would write a message. Here you can change the footer. You know, if you have a support email, for instance, you can write that here in the support email. And if you want to change the, you know, this has been produced as a collaboration between X and Y, etc. The ideas to show, this is how many ideas will you actually show on each campaign. Let's just put 50 for now. And there again, you decide who is this contribution site showing to for, like who's seeing this. Cool. We're gonna save now. Very, very cool. I have created the overarching landing page for the contribution sites, and now we're jumping into our campaigns. Finally, pressing on the big plus sign here of campaigns, and now we are, remember here that the campaign that we started was about onboarding. And here we want to write a description. I would urge you here on everything you're doing on the contribution site, either to type it in or to take plain text and copy and paste it. If you put in from with already formatted text, it will be significantly heavier for the contribution site, so it will go slower. So put in plain text. And here you can, of course, mess around with this. You can change, of course, the font. You can change the size, etc., and the color. Let's try that once we've seen it from the background and everything. We can try that. Here is an important part. You need to tie this to a campaign that is inside of Transformation 360. So here, remember that we had a lot of campaigns already from Innovation 360. The one that we created was the onboarding, the mentorship program. In fact, I should probably name this onboarding mentorship program. Okay, if you want to read more, sometimes clients have an external site where you can read more about this initiative. You can link that there. And you can label that read more button. The call to action could be something like submit idea of, rather here, submit idea. And this, we are so excited to hear your thoughts, something like that. All right, let's see. We have onboarding mentorship program. What could be a good background? Let's see. We have Yoda, not yoga. Yoda is a very good mentor, I would say. Don't you agree? And here you decide, okay, so now we're just creating one campaign, but what if you create 2, 3, 4 campaigns? This is the order of which they will be shown on the site. I will show you that in a moment, where that would happen. So if you put this one as number 1, that's going to come up as the top one of the campaign. If you show it as number 2, it will be the second one, and so forth. Is active? Yes. So we want this to be active, just to show at least, and then we can deactivate it after that. But if you're still working on this, you can keep it as a no. But once you actually start to invite people and engage, it needs to be active, of course. Awesome. And let's see here. I think the picture I chose, I know, is quite dark. So I'm going to see here. Let me see the text color. I'm going to make it white, and we'll see how that looks. We'll save here. And now we have created, there we go, little cute Yoda. We have created a strategic initiative, an ideation, and a campaign inside Transformation 360. And now we have created it as a contribution site for the external community. Let's see if it works. And here you see the URL. This is what you would send to anyone that you invite to this, or that can register, depending on if you have it as pre-registered or as an open ideation. Let's see. Show a new tab. Let's create the best version of ourselves. Wow, we have created a contribution site. That's pretty awesome. And of course, I had some already filled out texts, but this took it, and it's pretty damn cool. So here you can see, of course, we have 0 ideas, but we do have one campaign. This is what I mentioned earlier. If we had several campaigns here, they would show up sequentially here underneath each other vertically. So login was a bad choice. I would rather have like add or view ideas, but there you come in and see the actual campaign. And here we would need to make some changes, maybe make this in a different color so that everything's as clear as possible. But here we can actually leave ideas. This is to show that it works. And I could add links if I wanted to. I can upload pictures or smaller pictures or documents and stuff like that. And I can submit the idea, and we're good to go. Thank you very much for watching. And let's just see here. Yeah, so this, for instance, now I would go back and I would make some small changes. Here, I would change this to white. Maybe I would make it a little bit bigger as well. I would change this from login to view or submit idea. I would save it again. And I would show this a new tab. And there you go. Now it's a lot clearer. It comes with white text. And we've changed this login to view or submit ideas, which I personally think is makes more sense. So that's how easy it is, guys, to create contribution sites on Transformation 360. I'm super excited to see you doing your versions and using this super powerful tool. Let us know if you have any questions, and we're always happy to help. Best of luck. Take care. Bye.